Welcome, WonderConners, to WonderCon at Home. This is the all-star studded Burn After Pitching panel. Burn After Pitching is a wonderful podcast where we invite creatives on to pitch their takes on whatever weird stuff that comes into our brains. And for WonderCon, we have assembled an all-star panel. Let me go through all this. Let's see. First up, we have Abed Gheith, writer on Rick and Morty and Orcs in Space.
Hello?
Hello, Abed.
It's Gheith, but I mean,
My
Gheith
apologies.
is fine.
Close enough.
Okay, yeah. Writer on Rick and Morty and the just announced Orcs in Space. Also joining us is Sandra Dimas, editor and host of the Story Geeks podcast.
Yes. Hi.
Also, we have Greg Smith, writer on Junior Braves of the Apocalypse and the Kickstarter sensation, can I say, Starlight.
Hello.
Hello. And rounding off the star-studded panel, we have Chris Piers, host of the Comic Trope YouTube channel.
Comic tropes, but yes, close enough. Good enough for the girls I go out with.
Cool. And also, Michael Tanner, writer of Junior Braves with Greg, writer of Orcs in Space with Abed, friend of Sandra, and frequent pitcher and frequent host of Burn After Pitching with me. It's Michael Tanner.
Hey, everybody. WonderCon. It's a thing.
Yeah. Let's jump right into it with our first topic. For WonderCon, we want to hear your dream, your vision for a movie set at a convention.
All right. So my pitch for a movie that takes place at a convention. It's called Horizon Line. It is about a young podcaster who does a show about strange phenomena and like weird things. And he decides to go to a flat earth convention. He's like, I got to interview these guys, these wackadoos. So he goes in the morning, he goes to the first day of Flat Earth Con, Flat Con, I don't know what they'd call it. And he starts he's recording people, he's doing interviews. And throughout the morning, he's listening to these people, and the weirdest thing happens. They start to kind of make sense. And he's like, this is, they make a lot of good points. And like the star of the convention, the guy that everyone's there to see is a scientist who's going to debut this new machine that he has that proves that the earth is flat. He's going to do this live demonstration in front of everyone, and it's going to be the highlight of the convention. He's this scientist, and the podcaster's like, oh, that's really interesting. I gotta try to get an interview with him. But like lunchtime rolls around, he's like, well, I'm gonna go get some lunch, and his girlfriend picks him up and takes him to lunch, and he's telling her all about the convention, and everybody's like, they're really onto something. I think they're right. His girlfriend's like, that seems a little crazy, and he's like, no, and he starts like laying it out over the course of their lunch, and then kind of by the end of the lunch, he's like, yeah, wait, you're right. That is crazy. This doesn't make any sense. Like, this is crazy. I don't know what I was thinking. But I got to go back and I got to finish interviewing these people for the podcast. And she's like, well, I'll go with you. Like, we'll go check it out. And so they go back to the convention, and they're interviewing more people, and they're talking to them. And the girlfriend starts to think like, yeah, this actually does make a lot of sense. But then it's time for the scientist's big, his big presentation. And so they all go into like a big like Hall H convention hall, and they sit down, and the scientist, shows off his machine that proves the earth is flat. I don't know how it does that, but it does it for the sake of this pitch. And the guy and his girlfriend, they are just like, oh my God, this is so true. They're right. The earth is flat. We've all been lied to. Science is fake. NASA's a hoax. He's like, I got to interview this scientist. The big lie. So him and his girlfriend, they decide like, okay, let's sneak in the back. Let's try to get into like the green room and see if we can like get an interview with the scientist. And so they're like, they kind of make their way through, and they're like sneaking through the building, and they get to the green room, and they open the door, and they go in, and all the like flat earther, like bigwigs, the scientists, other presenters, the con organizer, they're there, and they are lizard people. The flat earth conspiracy is a cover for the lizard people who live inside the earth. And they have decided that the surface dwellers are getting too advanced in their science. And the more advanced their science gets, the closer they are to discovering the truth about the lizard people who live in the earth. So this machine that the scientist has built is like a mass hypnosis machine that they're trying out, and like they're running the machine nonstop. So everyone in the close proximity gets brainwashed into believing the flat earth. So they're like just trying to develop ways to increase the power of the mass hypnosis machine. And so this podcaster and his girlfriend, having seen the truth of lizard people and the machine not being on at that moment, they snap out of it and like, oh my God, we've got to warn people about the lizard people who are trying to convince everyone about the flat earth. So then we kind of go into like an invasion of the body snatchers kind of scenario where it's like, who can they trust? And they're trying to escape the convention and get away and warn people. But some people have already been convinced by the machine, but some people, they didn't need the machine to be convinced. They already believe it because they're stupid. And that's the warning of the movie, are these horrible, stupid people who believe the earth is flat. They could be coming. You're next. Horizon Line.
I don't have anything nearly as detailed as Michael with act breaks and character themes and stuff. I just have general high-level concept. You can all riff and you can all split the profits when we all get rich off this idea. When I think of a convention in general, I definitely think of it as like, a community sort of, ideally, kind of a safe place where people get to meet each other and stuff. So what would the contrast for that be? Maybe something like a murder mystery, like, try to do a locked room mystery of like, how does somebody get murdered on a convention floor with like, just, thousands of people all around them. I think that could be potentially pretty darn interesting. That obviously mysteries take a lot of work to sort of work backwards from, but like, I think that the high level concept of how could that possibly have happened with all these people surrounding them, like that happens like literally on the convention floor, they find like, a dead body. I think that could be an interesting type of movie to develop and make into something.
I want to see that. I want to see, actually, I want to see that like at a convention, like someone in the middle, like there's been a murder. And like, it's kind of like an immersive acting experience.
Yeah.
Where they just
maybe
like,
it's the convention that has the interactive murder immersive experience. So they can't get anyone to believe it's a real murder.
Fair.
Ooh.
Yeah. I think that there would definitely be plenty of room for doubt initially and like, getting an authority involved, and maybe the murderer sort of counted on some sort of aspect like that. Everybody's cosplaying and stuff,
Yeah.
Someone's murdered the Deadpool. No, not that Deadpool. That other Deadpool. The Deadpool who's also wearing the T-Rex
The
outfit.
tutu Deadpool with unicorn stuffy. Yeah.
Yeah. High level concept. I'm throwing out there into the world. Somebody will make it. I'll go, I didn't act fast enough. That's okay.
Like Chris, mine is nowhere near as robust as Michael's. Mine will be really from a female perspective, going to a con. So kind of the narrative that's put on women still, it's so weird, is, just kind of not expecting us to know much about various fandoms or our particular fandom. So I'd like this to be female indie publishers, and they're at their table and they're running their table, and all that ensues in running a table. And like, you've got the weirdos coming around and being creeps, you've got the guys trying to flirt, you've got the people who are just standing there talking and blocking your merchandise and not buying anything. They're just wasting your time. And there's also the interactions with the different people near your table. So, the kind of cute guy across the way that the women who are running their table, they're just kind of like eyeing him, but he's shy. And so that keeps unfolding. It's essentially like Clerks, but at a con and with women.
I know that guy across from you looks really cute, but isn't there also that best friend who may have been in love with you the whole time?
Yeah, sure. Sure.
And he's a letterer, so no one takes him seriously.
Oh, she's a letterer. That's the twist.
Ooh, twist.
A twist.
Would you have actual female comic book creators in the movie, or are they all fictional?
I think that would be amazing. I think that would be wonderful to have it be legit and have women who are writers and artists, and they're there. Maybe they're, they're drawing as well as just selling their books. So like multiple women there at their tables. But I think that'd be a lot of fun, and I think it would forced us to kind of look at some of the conversations that women are in. I've been at cons and I used to work at a sports place, and just guys always like challenging the idea that you know what you're
Oh
talking
yeah.
about. Like, you clearly don't know what you're talking about. And I'm like, well, I do, because this is my job to know about it. And so I'm gonna make you feel about this big in a second if you keep it up. Um, but
Female
I,
clerks is like a great idea. This is the
Yeah.
best idea so far.
yes.
Yeah,
Yay.
you could even like throw in a comedic murder mystery in there too. There was one kind of in Clue. There was not Clue, Clerks, the guy who died in the bathroom.
Well,
There could be,
I
you
think,
never
Sandra,
know.
that's a great idea because, comics have gone, or not comics, conventions have gone mainstream in a lot of ways. Everybody's gone to a convention of some sort, and there's so
Mhm.
many universal like things that happen, with lines and how people are treated and stuff, that there's definitely plenty of material to be mined there, either for a drama or a comedy, like stuff that people can relate to and dig into.
Oh yeah, and I think that there are so many different personalities. Like the first con that I went to, I was super nervous, thinking, "Oh gosh, like they're gonna know I'm new and be mean to me." And there was a guy who was really kind. I had my, I was eating con food, like what a newbie, right? So I was eating con food. I was like looking for a
Oh,
place to sit,
that's punishment enough
and
right there.
I know,
Enjoy that
like
$8 pretzel.
$20 for like a warm hot dog. Ugh. But anyway, so he was like, "Oh yeah, come sit with me," and we started talking, and he said, many of us grew up being bullied, and so we don't want to do that to other people as they're coming into this environment. And so there are some really wonderful people who attend cons who aren't snobby about it. Some are, but there are some who are just really kind, and maybe a little bit awkward, but I'm awkward too. And so I think seeing all these different sides of people who attend cons now, I think that would be really neat. And I think it'd be interesting to also see like the interactions in leaving the table and going and seeing like the protesters who are out there, and like what that is all about.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's such a fascinating world. And I think that there are so many different stories to tell in that, and so many different characters who can come in and out of scenes, in addition to the main characters, of course. But yeah, I think you can get a lot of different, comic reliefs in there too.
Oh yeah.
Be kind of
It's
fun.
really interesting because there's a lot of kind of tonal crossover with, like, say, like celebrity culture or the music industry with comic book conventions, because you'll have like, there's superstars, there's people that people will line up for, and
Right.
there's like the struggling person who's just like, please, I need to make tables so this wasn't a waste of my
Right.
time. Like,
Yeah.
there's such a microcosm of different
Yeah.
types of people, all in the same industry, all experiencing things very differently, but with a shared like location, I guess. Is
Yeah.
we're all
Yeah.
we're all in there together, but like some of our experiences are so vastly different.
Right. And I'd love these characters to be more at the please let us make table. Like they're
Yeah.
definitely
Oh
talented,
yeah.
but they're not, maybe they're an artist alley, like, hey, come over here. I know we're not selling junk. We're selling our work, our art. It's not just a bunch of t-shirts with, mashups. But I think that that would be part of the fun, is seeing it being very relatable for people who are in the industry and doing well, but they're not the big names yet and getting those big draws yet.
Well, another like interesting aspect you could roll into something like that is how you can be famous at the convention and then step off the floor to a restaurant and nobody knows who you are.
Yeah.
Man, what I love about these is they're all good and they're all really different.
All right, you said you like that they're all good and they're all different. Well, this one is very, very different because everyone's talking about comic book conventions, but I'm going to talk about a different type of convention completely. That is right. I'm going back into my deeper roots when I used to work in blood banking. So, for those who might not know, but Michael remembers, I have a family in Brazil. I say I have family members who live in Brazil who own a blood bank. And when I worked for them, I went to the blood banking conventions here in North America to go represent their blood bank. And it gave me a very good insight of different things that happen. And while I was there, I started to think, man, oh man, all these different things that happen in here. This is the setting that I would love to see something go down in. So my dream setting is an Ocean's 11 heist mixed with a very Lost Boys-esque vampire group holding down at a blood banking convention to steal the blood. That's right. I'm going to call it Near Dawn. And they recruit a young boy.
Break the bank?
No.
Okay.
No, not break the bank, because that's already a wrestling thing. I'm sorry. And the money's in the bag is already a wrestling thing. We can't do it. We can't do it, people. We cannot do it. So, Near Dawn, we have a young man whose mother is very, very ill, and he wants to do nothing but go get a really good job. But the only way that he can make ends meet is to work one job and work nights at a convention center. And this convention center is holding the world's largest blood banking convention. He's now brought into the folds of this vampire group who want him to help them, that they really don't need all that much help because, you know, they're vampires, right? But
they need a guy on the inside.
They need their inside man. They need a man who can work during the day, but also work during the night. He's their night man, their day man. So they get this young man who has a need to help his mom to do these tasks for them. And while they're getting him to work through all this, gosh darn it, he becomes a vampire. Well, because that's just how it works. I don't know the physics of vampires. I'm not a vampire. I just know that it works for this story. Now, honestly, they know that they need to hold this over his head because they know that the only way they can promise him the best care for him and his mom and making sure that she gets everything that she needs is to promise eternal life. And he's going to do anything to save his mom. But then he realizes that, gosh darn it, is it really all worth it? And, well, honestly, right near dawn, he realizes all they want is to steal his mom.
Twist.
I know, because they want cookies.
I got a lot of questions about what happens at a blood bank.
Like no one undead can cook. That's why they need the mom.
Oh, dude.
Blood I assumed it was like a trade show. Like maybe it was like this is the most accurate software for collating our blood donations.
Yeah.
Is there blood at a blood bank convention?
There's a lot.
Why?
That's a real thing.
Blood.
I don't know why.
Do people buy different kinds of blood at the convention? Is there like type O, type B?
They like sort of test it somehow. Like, oh, this is really good quality blood.
There's all types of apheresis machines. There's all types of different types of intake and outtake machines to bring to basically harvest blood and whole blood and other types of devices for testing and other things like that. So and refrigeration units and other things, blood bags.
Are there blood sommeliers out there that can be like, this is like some of the nicer blood?
You don't need a plot. You just need to be at the blood bank.
At the blood banking convention.
Greg, I think you might have been at a vampire convention. I'm just going to put that out there.
I think that might be it.
I think that might be it.
This makes me want to find out like how many different kinds of conventions are out there. Is there like
7?
Oh, there's a convention for
yeah, I know.
My mom has gone to Dental Con.
Ooh, that's a good one.
I'm like, that's a thing. Like,
is that a work-related
one?
There's
a trade convention for any type of job out there.
Right. Yeah. And it's just amazing. Like, just Dental Con.
Let's see. We know a friend of ours, Yehudi Mercado, went to PizzaCon to sell his comic because it was based around pizzas. Let's see. I took my wife to Chocolate Con for I think Valentine's Day or her birthday, which was just different chocolate vendors.
There's Cat Con.
Cat Con.
Oh,
yeah. I'm 100% allergic to that con, by the way.
Is there a candy convention like in Simpsons?
I'm sure there is.
I mean, presumably candy distributors need to sell their stuff or like secure new candy or something. So presumably.
See, I would
WonkaCon?
go to that.
Yeah, for real.
For CatCon, I'm sure they ignore you if you don't have food. So good there. All
They're
right.
cats. They ignore you anyway.
Yeah,
Mine is called The Panel from Hell. And it's basically
Sure.
it centers around a fictional comic creator who's very famous. His name escapes me, but his comic is about, it's called Satana, and it's about a death metal band who summons demons and has to actually fight, like, like they summon demons to fight the other monsters. But it's a popular comic. The creator's at Comic-Con. He's having a blast. Soon he finds out there's actually a Satana band who was inspired by his comic. And they're rabid fans. They confront him at the convention and say, dude, I'm glad you're here. We're putting on a convention or a panel for you. And we're going to raise the dead. We're going to like summon demons the way that your band in the comic does. So the creator's very hesitant because he thinks his fans are weird. He's scared. He shows up to check it out. They really do summon demons. Demons are loose in the convention. So that's crazy. The FBI shows up. We've been monitoring this crazy cult that you started from your comic book. You're in trouble, buddy. How did you do this? And how did you get them to summon demons? And he's like, I don't know it. I am just a comic creator. I have nothing to do with any of this madness. Like, I'm innocent. And then he's also got, there's an evil cult who feels that him summoning demons, like, is like rifling with them because they normally summon demons and they weren't alerted to this. So they show up pissed. So he's got 3 different groups. He doesn't know what to do next. It turns out that like it's like the game where someone is like with him. You know what I mean? And it's like it turns out to all just be like this hoax. The FBI guys are fake. The evil cult's fake. The guys in the band are fake. No demons were summoned. It was all a spoof. He goes nuts. He basically loses his shit and just has an episode at the convention. And I'm not sure how it should end. I think it should just end with him just like losing his mind and at the end of Scrooged, how he's like happy. Well, the end of this guy's angry and tearing up and attacking fans, saying like, I was traumatized by all of you. You know what I mean? And then I don't know, like he could probably just kill himself at the end, something like that. I just think
love it.
Yeah, I just think it needs to end with like an insane ending where people are like, Jesus Christ. I don't know.
Well, I was hoping they'd have to catch some of the demons, even if they are fake demons, because I love the idea of like a Ghostbusters thing at Comic-Con.
Yeah.
Well, you could have it all be real, but I just think at the very last, like I want to say 10 minutes is when we reveal that it's fake, and like someone was doing all the effects and stuff like that. But
I would like it to be that there's like one instance that happens that like maybe it's just him and like a demon appears or whatever, and he runs away, and when they're doing the reveal of like, yes, everything was fake, and like they run through like everything they did, but they don't mention that one incident.
Oh, that's
like,
funny demon.
Wait, was that real? Was that real or was that not real?
That's good.
Yeah.
Mike that is a great idea. Yeah.
That's why we work so well together on Orcs in Space, coming soon from Oni Press.
Oh,
Smooth.
nice one.
Yeah.
Didn't they sort of have like an 80s fake horror movie? I want to say like April Fool's Day, where like at the very end, all the people that had been killed were like,
Is it Final
surprise,
Girls?
like we were just doing this for your birthday.
Was it Final Girls?
Hey, no, this was way back in the 80s or something.
Oh, it was in the
okay.
80s.
Only
I
vaguely
don't-
remember it.
It might be April Fool's Day because I haven't
It
seen
might
that.
be.
Well, good segue, because hey, panel goers, if you know what movie Chris is talking about, tweet at us.
You want to come up with a hashtag there, Andrew?
We're thinking hashtag burning pitch. If you've got a burning pitch, hashtag us at burning pitch
There you go.
or at burn pitching. I don't know, just put it on the internet. We'll find it. It's our big panel. I think we have double the pitching pleasure for you, because we have had, we just recently had Tom and Jerry the movie. We've had Rocky and Bullwinkle the movie. We've had Space Jam. Everybody loves to tell you why they don't love movies with a cartoon character set in the real world. So I'm going to put to you guys, what is your pitch for a cartoon taking place in the real world? And this time, I think I will start with Sandra.
All right. So then yeah, I'm excited because I love stop motion animation. That is
Yay.
probably one of my favorite genres. That and horror, which, but I love Wallace and Gromit. I think they're so cute. And I would love to see Wallace and Gromit, but they come to the US. And the only reason why they come to the US, well, they're going to fly in either to LA or New York, either one, but they're going to do a road trip. And the purpose is to get to, what is it called? It's called the World Championship Cheese Contest, because Wallace needs to try all the cheeses and the best cheeses in the whole world. So that is it. We're going to see all of these different, just adjusting to American culture, American, like how we drive on the wrong side of the road, all of that stuff. But I would just love to see these characters come back. I think that Wallace and Gromit do a really great job of just being in. It isn't anything too well. Chris the Were-Rabbit is a bit extravagant, but ultimately what he's trying to do is just come up with like an exterminator, but for a were-rabbit. So it's kind of everyday stuff with a little bit of magic to it. So I think seeing Wallace and Gromit on a road trip, trying to get to the cheese and like all these shenanigans happening, and maybe they're in an RV and picking up different people and picking up all of these, strange to them characters, things that are very specific to the US that they are not used to. And we get to see like from a Brit's perspective of what is unusual. So yeah, I want to see that. I want to see Wallace and Gromit in real life. And I want it to be almost like the Muppet movie or the Great Muppet
Great
Caper.
Muppet Caper?
Yes. Yeah, like that would be so cool. I don't know. I think that that sense of humor too, like lots of kind of running bits and puns and stuff, I think that would be great to see, and kind of just have a throwback style movie like that.
So wait, in England, everything is stop motion and plasticine, but then when you come to America, America's real life, and nobody comments on this at all.
Oh yeah, that would be fantastic.
Yeah, it's like the Muppets.
Yes.
Aaron would be like, "You look English. Are you English?"
I know, and that's the whole
joke.
thing.
Yeah,
is that nobody questions how they look because of their accents. They're just like, that's how you look over there. Yeah. So that's why you're made of clay.
Would you do the thing like in? Would you do the thing like in the Muppet movie where there's just celebrity cameos?
Oh yes, I mean like there are so many celebrity cameos.
I want Steve Martin to play the same rude waiter he played in the Muppet movie.
Would you like to smell the bottle cap?
Idaho's finest. Oh, I love it. Well, plus
you have to have John Cleese in there.
Oh yeah, we are off to a roaring start. I love Wallace and Gromit, Muppet Movie Road Trip Across America, but I'm sure I'm going to love all these. But next, Abed, give us your cartoon.
You threw it right at me.
Yep.
I was deciding between two, and right before we started, I picked one. Now I loved the recent Power Rangers movie. I thought it was fantastic.
Oh, nice.
Not a lot of people saw it, and I was super bummed because I wanted to see more. They ended on a really good cliffhanger, but I would want to do that same style with Voltron.
Okay.
And make it kind of like in the Power Rangers where they each get summoned. They're like school kids that have normal lives. One day, I'm not sure in Voltron who it is, like summons them, kind of a Zorgon character, and then they become
Voltron,
yeah, it would be the Zorgon of Voltron, but it would be like they get summoned and then they all have to do their different like dinosaur machine or whatever part. Like they're all lions.
Wait, there's the tigers, and then what's the other one?
They're all lions.
They're all lions. Yeah. Okay. I don't know why I said dinosaur. Did I say dinosaur?
You did.
Well, there's another Voltron.
The Power Rangers like do dinosaur.
The
other Voltron is the motorcycle Voltron.
And
right?
it's like
car
vehicles.
Yeah. Anyway, it would be just like them. Like so, they get summoned. They become Voltron. An alien is coming to Earth. They have to fight. Voltron has to fight him. And it forms into Voltron because the alien is sort of like a Galactus kind of monster. So he's coming to like bash Earth, like like that one thing with the guy smashing the things, the head or whatever. And so then they fight, and
Riccio.
Voltron wins and saves the universe, and they live to face another day. Voltron, one of my favorite cartoons as a kid.
It was a great cartoon. I think
Yeah.
I think the reboot's pretty good too. I've seen a few episodes. It's
I heard it's
it's
good. I
supposed to
haven't
be
seen
good.
it
the
yet. but,
Avatar people, so it can't suck. I don't think.
I think there was a Voltron script. Someone gave me a copy like years ago, and I feel like it was the guys that did Deadpool, maybe.
Oh, like a feature script.
Yes, and I don't think it came to fruition, but like when I saw that there was going to be a Voltron, like it could happen, I was excited.
I wonder if Power Rangers killed it. It's a shame because this is the first time hearing that it's a good movie.
Yeah, I know
It's
a lot
great.
of people who really liked it.
Yeah.
I loved it. I was
You should
so
watch it, man.
underappreciated. Yeah.
I mean, what was the old Power Rangers one? The Secret of the it was
Secret of the
something-
Ooze.
I know Secret of the
Yeah,
Ooze.
no, that's the Teenage Mutant Ninja
I have the
Turtles.
original
Ivan
Power
Ooze
Rangers
is the
movie.
bad guy in Power Rangers.
Yeah,
I have the original Power Rangers movie that came out. It was a good movie too.
yeah, he was great. I love that villain they had. It was like some old vaudeville comedian, but just
Yeah.
having the time of his life. It's a fun. Yeah, all the Power Ranger movies. I think
What was the bad guy from Raiders of the Lost Ark? Was it?
What, Belloc or the
Belloc was the bad
Nonsense.
guy in the first Power Rangers movie.
Wow.
And he was
Wow,
in
he does
Game
great.
of Thrones, wasn't he?
I
I'm
don't
sorry,
think so.
Evan?
He wasn't.
I don't think so.
I thought he was that old guy that.
No, I know who you're thinking of. Different actor.
Oh, okay.
I have no idea who it was. He just had a vibe of like an old Catskills comedian, like hey, and which is perfect for a Power
Oh,
Ranger.
he hammed it up. You know, Voltron was like I'm just like a comic book nerd, so this is something I like learned recently. Voltron was adapted in Vietnam, but they call it Hero Hessman. It looks the exact same. It's Voltron. They paid licensing rights, but instead of being like 5 like lions piloted by humans, it's a sentient robot, and so he just
cut
is a
the
superhero. He still
human?
fights aliens, but he's
That's
just
cool.
himself.
They're very short episodes.
Yeah, like the episode's 10 minutes long.
It was just a comic book for like a long.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, Voltron's cool though. I kind of like that idea.
I love Voltron. I just love how
Yeah.
everything looks. Like it looks like such a cool, like the design and the
Yeah, the
colors.
lions are great. Yeah,
And there's less to like potentially sort of mess up than like, with Transformers, which is kind of a similar idea of like big robots and stuff. There's just so many potential characters to
Mhm.
move in and a lot of mythology. Voltron's way more simplified,
It's
like
simplified, and then it is sort of like a Power Ranger. I mean, well, it was before Power Rangers, but
like
it's
5
like
guys.
right. It would be like, well, I think a girl, she's the pink one, and then it would be the other, and then there's like a heavy
He's a
set
team.
guy. Yeah, and it's like they're all sort of like quirky, but it's like they learn to work together through doing this and becoming like a band.
Cool
kind
idea.
of.
let's make a guy the pink one though. Just to do it. It's time. It's time for a male Pink Ranger.
There we go.
I'm into that actually.
Hashtag it's time. Okay.
It's
Love it.
morphin time.
It's more fantastic.
Voltron time's up. Well, no. Okay. Anyways,
No.
excellent. Greg, give us your pitch for a cartoon in the real world.
All right, so I actually picked a video game, if that's all right.
Mhm.
All right,
I'll allow it.
you'll allow it. All
Yes.
right,
Yeah,
excellent.
come on.
All right. So I went with the video game series No More Heroes. The title character Travis Touchdown from Suda 51 and Grasshopper Studios. Travis Touchdown of the No More Heroes series ends up in the real world, but it's not just any real world. It is the Hotel Artemis real world. And he's not in Hotel Artemis. He's in Hotel Apache in Las Vegas. He ends up on the bottom floor of it. And the only way to get back to his own world is to fight his way through every single story of the hotel until he gets to the top, to the pinnacle, to the peak, to the penthouse, where the portal to his home is at. But he can't get there right away because he needs help from the oh man, what is the person who is who assists you at the front counter? The
Concierge.
Concierge?
That's it. That's the word. Okay.
I thought the word
so-
you were searching for would be way geekier, but yeah.
No. The concierge, and they have a pass key that he needs to get through the different floors. So he asked this young lady for some help by grabbing her and making her use her key to get into the elevator. And as they fight their way through, or as he fights his way through all the different levels of this hotel, she watches in horror as he dispatches all these different people. And as they get to the very top, he realizes there's no one else there. And he looks around and he says, "Who lives here?" And that's when she says, "I do. This is my penthouse." And they fight because she's been watching every single move, every single takedown, every single misstep, because his physics are from a video game, not the real world. So everything that he's done incorrectly and not quite learned in the real world, she's already learned how to parry and combat and be ready for. So they have an epic battle, but she doesn't kill him. She slices him across the chest, kicks him through his portal, sends him back to his homeworld, where he wakes up thinking he just woke up from a bad dream, grabs his chest, and then he realizes he's in love and he wants to get back to her. It's a love story, people, because we need more love in this world. Also, more killing movies, but I mean, love.
Yeah. And
I
more
am
love-
unfamiliar with everything you referenced in that.
Me
pick.
too. I don't know
I
that
have
game.
no idea.
Oh my gosh. So, I
yeah.
realize that this
It's not
is a
Hotel
panel.
Artemis, it's Hotel Apache.
Well, no. Hotel Apache is not to spoil a movie that probably people should have seen before now. I mean, it's a couple years old, but Hotel Apache is the Hotel Artemis of Las Vegas that they reference in Hotel Artemis.
Oh, okay.
and that's a movie.
It's a movie, yes.
And I feel like
The one with
Tilda
like Jodie
Swinton?
Foster and Dave
Jodie
Bautista?
Foster? Yes.
Yeah, Jodie Foster.
I sort of remember that one.
Nobody
She's
saw
the nurse.
that.
Yeah, nobody saw it. I know. I'm sorry.
You
people.
went past obscure into irrelevant, Greg. What are you doing?
No, if you're gonna reference that stuff, this is the place to be
This is
doing
the
it.
place.
So if you're gonna do that anywhere, it's right here.
No
In all-
flea and shaming. That was my rule. I will stick by it.
Well, and I wanted to explain, but then I realized it's a panel for all ages and all people. But just imagine you're being murdered by a guy who has to charge up a lightsaber by using it like a shake weight. So you do the imagine that in your head. He has to charge that thing up like it's a shake weight in front of him. Yeah. And,
I don't
and then
know
he's gonna
anything.
murder you.
Because it's
I
a
don't know
Wii
any
game,
reference.
or it's a.
It's a light beam katana, but
Can they
it's
lock
not-
eyes and then fall in love?
Well, no. He's not fighting her, but
They
he's
gotta
fighting
lock eyes,
everyone
then
else.
they gotta
So
shake
imagine
the
how
katana,
scary. Well,
so
yeah,
to
he's
speak.
he's probably doing it like,
No,
Off
no.
camera. Thanks.
yeah, sorry.
The manly way to charge a katana, I think.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and he has to in every single every floor to be able to get to the in his video game persona, the only way that he can save his levels, he has to use the bathroom.
Is that really a game
Is that
mechanic?
a thing?
It is a game mechanic.
That's pretty funny.
There's 4 games right now, and in every game you're using the bathroom, you're charging your shake weight or your lightsaber katana or your light
The other
katana.
characters comment on the fact that you're going to the bathroom a lot.
Yeah.
Right before you start
I just
a boss battle, you're like,
Hold on a second,
hold on
I
a
have to
sec.
use the restroom
gotta use the head.
before I kill
Code
you.
of honor must say I must give you a bathroom break.
It's quite
I'll just be
honestly,
here shaking my katana.
I think nothing scarier would be to have some dude just arrive in your room, just doing that, or
Shake waiting and then saying, I must kill
I'm
you.
gonna kill you
Shake
but
weight.
first.
That's
Yeah,
pretty horrific.
then I'm gonna kill you, but hold on, let me use your restroom first. And then you're like, am I gonna die? Is this guy gonna die in the bathroom? I don't know what's gonna go on. I don't know what's happening. Is this real? And then he comes out and kills you, and then
Hey, Greg, you remind me of that guy from I'm Dying Up Here. Remember the one that gets the mailman gig on the TV show? Anyone see that show?
no, I haven't.
What are you
You
talking
totally,
about?
you're just like that dude in the show.
Yeah, it rings a bell, but yeah.
I think he's in Kick-Ass also, but he's like in the show I'm Dying Up Here, his character becomes like a sitcom star. That dude.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Oh.
Maybe that's my arc.
So yeah, big things ahead. But first,
Woo!
bathroom break.
Okay, gotta go. See you.
Awesome. Okay, cool. Cool. And yeah, by the way, if we were not sufficiently respectful of Hotel Artemis, tweet at us at Burn Pitching.
Yeah.
I don't know. Engagement. Hashtag. All right. Excellent. Excellent all around. But let's see. Chris, let's hear your take on a cartoon in the real world.
You know, I was stumped at first because all the stuff I started thinking of was like, stuff that I grew up with that kind of has been adapted, like, Transformers and G.I. Joe.
Mhm.
And I put it out to some of my viewers. I was like, any ideas? And some of them were interesting, but like, I don't know it well enough. Like a lot of people said that they wanted to see a show called Gargoyles adapted,
Oh, that's a
but
good show.
I never saw that.
If I can jump, I would love a movie where the cartoon Transformers come into our world and bitch out the movie Transformers for being loud and confusing.
Sure. I think
I
that
love
would be
Fine,
Gargoyles.
host privilege.
I love Gargoyles, sorry.
But yeah, Gargoyles
Do you?
is freaking amazing. Yeah.
Big fan of that
But,
cartoon.
then I started thinking like even back further, like stuff that I watched but like existed before me. And there's a lot of Hanna-Barbera stuff that could like really work, I think, quite well. I think that like I've got one really obscure one that I'll sort of just table in case there's space for it later. But the Snagglepuss is a character I love.
Oh, I love
Exit
him.
stage left even.
He's so
Heavens to
good.
Murgatroyd. It's really good. Like 2 years ago, DC did this amazing comic book. Yeah, people are already nodding.
Yeah, it was
written
great.
by a
It's
guy
so
named
good.
Mark
Oh, the
Russell.
Snagglepuss. Yeah.
Snagglepuss, they envisioned him as a 1950s gay playwright from Mississippi that like was hitting it big in Broadway.
That
And he
tracks.
was like dealing with all these things like, potentially getting outed and the House Un-American Activities Committee coming after him for like potentially being like, a communist. And I just feel like it was a really interesting, pretty serious comic, but still had some humor. And I think that it would be really interesting seeing a cartoon Snagglepuss in the real world, like literally adapting that story. It's like a 6-issue or 8-issue comic, unlike anything else you've read, like a really weird take on the material.
Should
But
it be
that could
like
be
Roger
pretty
Rabbit?
interesting.
Would it be like Roger Rabbit, to reiterate?
I think it would be a little more serious, honestly. A little more serious. You've got like a pretty funny character that's like hiding some real sort of pain that like he doesn't really fit in that well, even with all of his success. And I think that a lot of people can sort of like relate to that, feeling like a little bit of persecution or a little bit the underdog.
Can
don't
I
know,
add
it's a
something to
really
his
interesting
pitch?
comic.
Is that possible? I wanted to add. I love your pitch so much because I'm a big Snaggletooth fan. But what if the central part of your story is that he's a famous cartoon character and he comes out as being
Yeah.
gay, and so then there's a backlash.
Exit
You know, 'cause
stage
And in the
left.
comic, that sort of happens to his friend Huckleberry Hound, who's a closeted gay
Mhm.
character that
Yeah.
gets outed,
Oh.
and it's kind of tragic, but it's
Yeah.
interesting. And then if I just wanted to go more like light and goofy and fun, there's this pretty obscure Hanna-Barbera show called Shazam about like this magical genie that would
Yeah.
just like torture his enemies.
Yeah.
Like at the like in the it'd be like a 10-minute cartoon where these like little kids were like, in trouble with like, an evil wizard or something every episode. And that the last like 2 minutes or so of they'd put together the magic ring, call a genie that could do anything. And he never had any problem dispatching the threat. He basically would, turn them into basketballs or like throw them off a cliff and throw snakes
Yeah.
at them and stuff. I would sort of get a kick out of a movie like that, where like Shazam is sort of the problem because he's just so powerful and weird.
That was done actually. What was that old TV Funhouse? I don't know if it ever aired, but I saw a collection of it, and they did a Shazam parody where like he starts really mutilating the bad guys, and the kids are like crying like, "No, Shazam, no!"
I know. I
Don't hurt
actually
him.
know. I actually know Dino Stompanopoulos, who worked on TV Funhouse, and
I didn't
yeah,
know.
and I was a
Makes
big
sense.
fan of that show.
Mhm.
Huge fan.
I met, what was his name? JJ Sademeyer?
I don't think I know him.
Okay,
He
he
worked
was
on
one of the
that
guys.
too.
He gave me a DVD of like all of his stuff, which was all the TV Funhouse, which is how I saw it. But I think it was on the TV too. I saw him at Comic-Con. Hey, Comic-Cons, they're great.
I would like to see a movie with a genie that's like a little out of control, like not necessarily evil, like Wishmaster, just like he just goes way too far. The stuff he thinks is funny is just sort of like calm it down a little bit,
Yeah.
Shazam.
What's the one with Sinbad that doesn't actually exist, but everyone remembers it?
Shazam,
That's
Shazam.
Shazam.
Yeah, it's Shazam.
not a
It
real
does
thing.
exist.
Not
The
in
flat
this
Earth lizards got
people
you,
want you
Greg.
to think.
not in this reality. So I don't have good ideas of my own. I just would adapt either the Snagglepuss comic book or take Shazam and just stretch it from 10 minutes into 2 hours.
I wonder with like when DC was doing those Hanna-Barbera books, which were all great.
They're interesting.
Yeah, oh yeah, it's like I really wanted to like the Wacky Races one, which was like Mad Max Wacky
I didn't read
Races.
that
Oh
one.
yeah,
I don't think it actually ended. I think they just stopped putting it out.
I think
Okay.
so.
But I think like if they had gotten more traction on the WB like app thing, like whatever their like streaming service was, I wonder if that was the idea. Like maybe that would be developing projects like an original series like for
Maybe.
that app.
Oh,
But it was just a few years too early, maybe for the golden age of streaming.
I've been waiting for them to do a really good Flintstones reboot, and make it more kind of adult. Like I think that would be cool, but they haven't. For some reason, no one's doing that.
Flintstones would be interesting, like if you could somehow put them in just like the modern day, like sort of ground that somehow and like play up their fish out of water type stuff a little more.
make them cavemen in a primitive world that's just our world after the apocalypse.
Ooh,
Oh.
that's good. That's good.
Which explains, maybe the apocalypse, they clone dinosaurs. That's why they have dinosaurs. So, suddenly that makes sense.
Okay.
It's like the Jetsons Flintstones theory.
Yeah.
'Cause
Yeah,
the
it's a
Jetsons live
living.
above the club.
Yeah. The upper societies are up in these like tall cities on stilts. The Flintstones never get to see them.
Mhm.
They're just down there stuck with like the
What?
mammoth vacuum cleaner.
I never heard this before.
Oh yeah. Well, it's weird. I'd always assumed in the Jetsons it was post-apocalyptic. The Earth was just too freaking polluted, so they all had to live in the still.
Yeah.
Then there's one episode where they go down and the Earth is fine. So like, why the hell are your cities like 3 miles up in the air? Anyways, though, we're doing great. Oh, I'm a little worried about time, but hey, we will end where we started. Michael, give us your cartoon in the real world.
Okay, this was this actually my wife gave me this idea, and then I kind of developed it. She was
My
like, "What
wife.
about my wife?" We're going with Marvin the Martian. So we've got Mars, and Mars is in the news just recently. The rover landed, all that.
Oh,
So basically, the Martians of Marvin's species, they live inside Mars, and they are very tired.
Like lizard people.
Like the lizard people. Yeah, there's a lot of themes running through my pitches this episode. So the Martians are tired of Earth just dumping garbage on the surface of their planet. Because like the rover dropper just like went off and crashed. There's more and more Earth debris showing up. So, but the Martians aren't cruel. So they are going to, before they destroy the Earth, they're going to send an emissary to warn them so they can, because they can travel through space, warn them so they can evacuate their planet, whoever they can, before they blow it up, so they can stop leaving garbage all over Mars. Of course, the emissary is Marvin, and he gets to bring his companion K9, who's the dog from his cartoons. So they fly their spaceship to Earth, and it crashes, and Marvin and K9 get separated. And they are the cartoon version, so this is like Space
I love it
Journey.
because they're so pissed at us for crashing on them. Then what do
Yeah,
they do?
and then they crash.
Come on.
Hypocrites.
Yeah.
Martian hypocrites. But K9 is found by a human girl who is very angsty, and she doesn't like people either. But she loves dogs, and K9 is a very unique dog. So she adopts K9. And meanwhile, Marvin is trying to figure out how. First, he wants to reunite with his dog, but also he's got to get to some Earthling to tell them to give the message so they can evacuate, because they're, you know, the Mars launches their missile or whatever in like 2 days. So there's our time lock on the story. So Marvin eventually tracks down K9, and K9 has become fond of the little girl and doesn't want to leave, and kind of convinces Marvin that he needs to somehow save the Earth, because, you know, this nice little girl is there. So Marvin begrudgingly teams up with the girl to win her science fair. So Marvin like builds the Imodium Q36 mega thing, which he is always talking about in the cartoon. And they win the science fair.
26 space modulator.
That's
Yes.
it. Oh God, I was thinking of that. Yeah.
And so Marvin, like, he befriends the girl. He realizes that not all humanity is bad, so he prevents Mars from blowing up the Earth. And then him and K9 decide to stay on Earth, and they're just little cartoon Martians running around Earth. That's my pitch for the Marvin the Martian in the Real World movie.
Michael, it's too bad you only had a tiny little idea that isn't very well developed. But you know, good
I know character arcs.
I still want, I want the post-credit sequence where like they're moved in on Earth, but then there's this smart talking rabbit they can't get out of the backyard.
I was gonna do a post credits that's Duck Dodgers comes out of a time machine.
Am I too late?
I like it.
All of this is so fun. Like, it just reminding me of my childhood.
It's a little like that movie. About the Space Invaders. I don't know if anyone remembers that.
I love that movie.
I remember that.
Trying to
They
remember.
Like
look
four
so
little
cool.
aliens or something.
What's that?
They were small. They had like those weird like helmets. They were almost like Kazoo from.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the big heads, antennas. They all had different kind of Hollywood actor affects. Like one sounded like Jack Nicholson.
Yes.
I haven't seen it in years, but I loved it as a kid.
I don't know if it holds up, but the thing I remember, it's not the thing I remember the most, but like the main character, like the main girl in the movie, dresses up as a xenomorph from Alien for Halloween. And just like to see that a little kid in a movie in that time period would like be dressing up as a xenomorph. And it's to show that she is like a sci-fi nerd, because everyone else is like princesses and, you know, superheroes and scarecrows or whatever, but she has like a pretty good homemade cardboard and tubes xenomorph costume.
Yeah. Well, there were like all those like alien toys and alien lunch boxes. Like, what were people thinking? Really?
We were in a future episode of Burn After Pitching. We do want to do a like pitch a toy line based on a rated R movie.
Oh yeah.
Ooh, I like it. I like it.
Well, they did that a bunch actually in the 80s,
Yeah.
didn't they? Because like all of a sudden, like RoboCop and Alien were like turning
Rambo.
into toys.
Rambo.
Yeah, I think his cartoon was controversial because it was
Police Academy.
Police
Yeah, I was gonna
Academy.
say Police
Oh
Academy
my
did
God,
start
they
as an
did
R-rated
Police
movie.
Academy?
The Police Academy toys were amazing.
They're pretty good.
Yeah.
Because
What
they
were
were
they? Were they just
compatible
action
with
figures or
They
Well,
did
they were,
action figures of
based
the
on
cartoon,
the cartoon.
based on the
Mhm.
cartoon, but they were. I had a bunch of them, and like I had Jones, and his mouth would open,
Mhm.
and
It would just
who else did I
open.
have?
Because if it doesn't make a sound effect, that feels like a miss.
You make your own sound effect. The power of imagination.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, everybody imitated Jones.
But yeah, the Police Academy is weird because the first movie is a hard R, and then it
Oh, yeah.
softens in Police Academy 2, and then it's a kids movie by Police Academy 3.
Well, it's funny that movie how it just evolves and just gets weirder, and like all the villains then show up as like new recruits or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
Bobcat Goldthwait. Yeah.
Bobcat.
It was
He's like
great.
the best, but I
Mhm.
also think I think in the 6th movie, it's just so bonkers. Like they fight this like evil gang of like guys that are like they're almost like the superhero evil gang,
Yeah.
and it's directed by
versus the
Peter
Legion of Doom.
Bonners, who was on Bob Newhart's show.
I think they had Tim Kazurinsky too, as like a undersung SNL guy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
super funny,
He's in the second
good on
and
it.
third one. I
Mr.
think?
Sweet Chuck.
Yeah, Sweet Chuck.
He was what you call it? Then when he joins the police academy, him and Bobcat become friends, but
Mhm.
they're enemies in like the 2nd movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, they sort of always
like
beating each
like
other up
Ogre
and yelling at each other.
like Ogre joins the nerds in Revenge of the Nerds. It's like it happens over movies. There's probably a term for it, of like sequel villain redemption. I don't know. Anyways, excellent ideas all around. As we close, why don't we tell all the wonderful attendees of Comic-Con where we can find you? Greg, where should we look for you?
You can find
in the
me
woods,
at,
I guess.
Yeah, in the woods. In the woods with the Junior
Say
Braves.
your name 3 times, you'll appear.
Yes. You can find me at That Amazing Twit on Twitter, or GK Wordsmith, That Amazing Twit on Instagram. And you can find me posting with Mike on the Junior Braves of the Apocalypse, or the Junior Braves 65 Facebook page. So
excellent. Chris.
My new movie, Godzilla versus Kong, comes out next month. I'm really proud of that. My YouTube channel.
Was you?
That was me.
It's
My YouTube channel is called
Comic
Tropes. Comic Tropes. And then I'm also frequently on Twitter under C Tropes, or I think if you look up Comic Tropes, you'd see me, and some other social media, but mostly YouTube.
Excellent. Abed.
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram under Abed G. That's ABEDG.
Michael.
You can visit me on my website, bymichaeltanner.com, or you can follow me on Twitter at MikeIsErnie at twitter.com. Also, Abed and I, we've got a new series from Oni Press coming out in July. So it'll be up in previews for you to order from your local comic book shop, I think in April. It's called Orcs in Space. It's a sci-fi comedy about orcs in space.
Space. Excellent. Sandra, how about you?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram. I am at Hey, it's Sandra D. And you can find the Story Geeks at thestorygeeks.org, and you can find us also on YouTube at the Story Geeks.
Excellent. And all my various stuff can be found at andynordvall.com. This has been the WonderCon Burn After Pitching panel. Thank you, everyone, for coming.